Good evening, kids and parents. In the lesson number 18, we are going to study game by the world champion Smyslov Vassily versus Rudovsky Iosif in 1945. So we have Sicilian defense that is very popular. And look at this nice way that Smyslov is playing. And you can play in your games like this, just bishop e2 and then bishop e3. It's kind of like a classical game that you can play against Sicilian defense. And what's great about this, you can play against nearly every Sicilian defense the same way. Now f4. And pay attention to this move, queen e1. So why queen e1, right? The white wants to bring the queen to the king side. Sometimes queen goes to g3 and helps the attack here in the center, like with e5. So that's the reason, right? And also you are making space on d1, free for the rook, right? So that's the idea of queen e1. Knight takes, and here e5, bishop move to e3. Now, you may notice that something changed here with the pawn structure, right? Suddenly there is a d5 space that is quite weak. And you'll see from the game how Smyslov used that space. Also, there's a backward pawn, right? That's quite weak. Now, black played bishop to e6. And after f5, he played bishop to c4 to trade his bishop, what is not a good idea that you will see from the game, right? So bishop takes, queen takes, and now look at this marvelous move. This is what we need to learn here about the strategy of the backward pawn and the weak space in front of the pawn. Bishop to g5. This is a very important move that you need to learn from this game. So we trade bishop for a knight, right? Because the knight is important here. It is controlling d5. And now, look, after knight d5, you have complete control over the center of the board. Knight is great on the white color. The bishop on f6 is not doing very well. It's a weak piece. And then you will see you also have a backward pawn that is quite weak. Now, yes, white is giving a pawn, right, on c2. We can see what happens after queen takes on c2, right? In that case, we will play rook f2 and queen moves back to c6, and then you can win the exchange, right? After this move, you would simply win. Now let's see if that's enough, right? You take on a8, and then here you could play a move like rook c2, and you are threatening down the checkmate and activate the queen, right? So it seems so that here black doesn't have enough. Yes, black has a 2 pawns and the bishop for a rook, but the problem is this backward pawn, and white is controlling the c file, right? So, for instance, after a move like this, queen b3 can be played with the idea rook c7 attacking the pawn on f7, attacking pawn on b7. And here, the black doesn't have enough. White is better in this position with excellent chances to win the game. So that's not what happened in the game. Bishop d8 is played, and now c3, right? So after this move b3, check, king h1. So you can see that the knight is really fantastic piece. Now, what we are going to learn from this game is that when you control the center, look, when you have such a fantastic knight on d5, the control of the center allows you to attack on the king side, right? And that is why Smyslov is now preparing the attack. He plays rook f3, he's bringing the rook into the game, and you'll see also the queen is going to come into the game. And now, fantastic move, f6, right? Opening up the king side completely, threatening to take on g7, right? And so what can you do here, right? You have to take on f6 because otherwise the queen is coming into the game. The rook also can go to h3, and everything is happening because this knight on d5 is controlling the center of the board. And that's why the attack can happen. And now queen h4, rook g8, what else, right? And knight f6. So you're threatening checkmate on h7. Rook g7, rook g3, removing the defender, right? You want to exchange the rook, and then again you can attack on h7. Here queen f6. So it looks like black defended the position, but the problem is that after rook d1, I see this pawn on d6 is hanging. White wants to take on d6, and pay attention how everything is controlled here. The black cannot take on c3. It looks very nice here for white. So after this move, white capture on g7, and black resign the game, but I'm going to show you anyway what can happen, like rook d8, and you are winning the queen. So let's go back and see one more time what was the most important in this this game. So what we've learned here after f5, right? Black played bishop c4. We traded, and the most important was this idea bishop g5, trading the knight, and then playing knight d5, right? So it's clear that Vassily Smyslov calculated this queen c2, right? I showed you what happens after that move. You win the exchange. And here we are learning about the attack on the king side when you control the center of the board, right? Now the attack can happen because this control over the center. And f6, those are very important ideas. Queen h4, knight f6, and then trade of the rooks, right? And the end of the game here. After rook d1, rook d7, and you take on d5, and you win, right? So that's important. Can we improve this position if you are playing this with the black side? Yes, we can, right? In this position here, when we play d5, so instead of bishop e6, you can play bishop d7. That's a little bit better, right? So you don't want to trade this bishop, right? You don't want to exchange that because the d5 is very weak. That needs to be protected. So this was a better way to play. Okay, I hope you enjoyed this lesson. It is a strategical lesson, and I think very important for you to learn the strategy of having a knight on d5. Okay, see you. Bye-bye.